So when I was young, I was homeschooled, and I didn't really have much social interaction at all. So I was a little strange, a little weird. Uh, I was already playing like my mom's attic guitar and stuff, so I was like already a guitar dude and didn't even know it. We went to this church, and just normal church hurt things happened there, and kind of pushed me against what I thought was Jesus, but was actually just what I perceived the church to be. And so I always called myself an atheist, although looking back, that wasn't true, because I was like, there might be something, which is agnosticism. Yeah, so from like the time I was like 12 years old, when I like got really hurt and like kind of swore off, man, if that's your Jesus, I don't want nothing to do with him. I was a little weird. I was a little weirdo in high school. I was so edgy, dude. I was like the king. I was like edgelord supreme, bro. You know, I started abusing all kind of drugs and stuff, and just getting into that party scene. Got out of high school, started dating this girl from Mississippi. We like hit it off really well, and we like the main thing we bonded over was basically just partying and doing a bunch of crazy stuff. And I was actually engaged to be married to her when I was 19 years old. And a lot of people, I tell them that, and they're like, wow, you were engaged? And it's like, it doesn't feel like a big deal looking back, but I guess it kind of was. Because, you know, I saw my parents get married at 19, and I was like, hey, that's a cool idea. Let's start the family, you know. But I knew absolutely nothing. So she ended up leaving me for one of my best friends at the time. And one of the reasons why God is so cool is when I got saved, there's actually been full reconciliation with this friend. He's my boy to this day. I still keep in contact with him. We still are really good friends, and would do anything for him, you know. And so just wanted to preface that because that's a pretty heartbreaking moment in my life that was really terrible. And at the time, obviously, I was not a big fan of him or her, you know, but that's kind of what the Lord used to grab me from where I was at. So crazy story. And the coolest thing is when I found out that they had been together, I immediately called my friend who was working at the tire shop in Zachary Walmart, and was like just telling him about, man, you can't believe this, da da da. He was like, man, come by. He was like, bro, I got some pills at the house we could take, and you'll get zoned out. It'll be all good tonight. I got you. I was like, all right, bet. But he was like, I get off in like a couple hours. And I was like, cool, I'm going to leave work now because I'm kind of in shambles. I'm going to come over there and I'll just wait out. I'll wait till your shift is over. Don't even know why I made that decision. That's weird in and of itself. Like, why would I do that? So I go to Walmart, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, it's eating me up. And so I go to the bathroom, and I was like, man, I just need to get away from people because, dude, I'm just not in a space for this right now. I need to go away. So I go in the bathroom stall, and thankfully it's all empty. And I just broke down, and like the type of crying that like shakes your soul, and the type that doesn't just stop. I'm like unraveling in this bathroom stall, and I hear all like not audible words, but just that voice in your heart, you know, that's just clear as day. Hey man, I've been running with you this whole time. I've been with you this whole time. Are you ready to come with me? You ready to get serious about this? And I was like, what? Because I in that bathroom stall, I had asked, I was like, Jesus, if you're real, dude, now's the time. And he was like, hey, I've been here this whole time. Let's go. And I was like, wow. And my tears went away, and like I stopped shaking and convulsing, and was just like, oh my gosh, maybe that's it. That's actually it. I remember thinking to myself, I don't know what's out there, I don't know what's going on, but when I find it, I'm gonna dedicate my life to it. Whatever it is, I'm gonna be a soldier for it, you know? And then that happened, and I was like, that's it. But I was like, yo, this is real now, so I need to find a Bible. So I'm freaking out. I go and I look, and I'm like, I guess, I was like, if I'm gonna run with bro, I need to know what he was talking about. So it's like the most elementary thought process, like literally a baby. I'm like, dude, I guess like if that was him, I need to know what he was talking about, so let me find a Bible, I guess, and read that thing. Just thinking with this, such a childish thought process that just was absolutely perfect for the time. Like that's because that's exactly what I needed to do. I didn't need a sermon. I didn't need to jump straight into church. I didn't need to, whatever. So I just start reading, and then I'll never forget, I was reading like through Ephesians, I think. And I was like, I just thought about it. I was like, you know who I need to call? I need to call Ryan Estes, bro. I need to talk to Ryan Estes because, and every time I tell my testimony, I have to mention him because he was the first person that I thought of after I got saved where I told myself, if anybody knows him, that dude does. Which, man, that's so convicting because that's how I want to live my life. I want to live my life in such a way that someone thinks of me after getting saved and be like, hey, I bet Jacob, And I called up Ryan and I was like, dude, you'll never guess what happened. And I told him about Walmart and everything. He was like, dude, that's sick. And come to find out, his now wife had actually invited him to a new church, and he invited me to go, and I got plugged into a fantastic community for being a brand new Christian and just grew and flourished. And, stuff happened, normal church stuff happened, and ended up going my separate ways from there. But that foundation that was laid there was crucial because it was during that time that I truly fell in love with the Word, and I devoured it, like obsessing over it, waking up at 4 a.m. There was a period of my life for like a year straight where I would wake up at 4 a.m. before work, read until like 6:30, get ready for work, go to work, read on the way to work because I worked with my dad, so I just rode with him to work. So I read on my way to work, would do my plumbing thing, and then we had like 3 hours of van time every day. I'm just reading the whole time. It was a part of my life where I was perfectly set up to just devour and obsess over it. And it laid a foundation in my heart that I didn't know that I would greatly need for the years to come. I've always been super expressive, charismatic, I guess you could say. So I kind of draw attention, and particularly back then too, because I wasn't on any worship team or anything, but I was just singing my heart out in the pews. And it just brought so much life to the church where like people would come up to me after church and be like, dude, you're destined for huge things. Like the Lord is going to use you. This is awesome. And all of that absolutely is true. And I knew it was true. But I was like maybe 3 months old, 4 months old. And that is just not what a 4-month-old needs to hear at all. Hey, you're a big deal. Oh, sweet, I guess I'm a big deal. And then you start to think you're a big deal. And then you get absolutely plastered with a big old slice of humble pie. Something happens, whatever goes down. And all of that culminated with, hey, you're a big deal, just led to an inflated head that eventually had to pop. And boy, was I humbled and just kind of sent into the wasteland. The joy of the Lord was just absolutely ripped from my life. And I was just kind of chewed up and tossed out for like 3 years, bro, where I was trying to just tread water. And I was living in New Orleans, and I wasn't living fantastic, definitely not to the standard of a Christian, that I want to live. It was extremely hard, but the Word got me through those things. And I always stood on one verse in particular, and that the Lord is faithful to complete the work that He started. So I always would refer back to, okay, the Lord saved me, He got me, I have tasted and seen, I'm ruined. So I know that whatever this is right now, this temporary storm that I'm experiencing, it will pass. It will go away. The joy of the Lord will be restored to me. It took what felt like forever. But I had to go through that because I had to learn what grace truly was. I had to learn what grace in my life felt like, the absolute balm to the soul that it is, so that I could extend that grace to others, because that was the big thing. I had a lot of head knowledge and I had a lot of zeal, but I didn't have no grace, bro. Like if it was clicking in my head and not in yours, what's wrong with you? Get in line, you know what I'm saying? And that's just so not Christ. That is not how you learned Christ. That is not how he came to be your love at all. Stand on the promises of God. That would be my number one advice, is to get a list of promises that he made. Try to memorize a couple of them and stand on them. Stand on those promises. Believe them, declare them, because that's literally the only thing that got me through. I couldn't bring myself to read a Bible, but every night before I went to bed, I would be like, Lord, you started a good work. I believe that. You go get me through this. I said, you're going to get me through this countless times, bro. His grace is so much deeper and so much wider, and his forgiveness is so much greater than I could ever comprehend. All of the idle words, all of the, thoughtless sins, all of the reactionary sins, all of the emotional sins, like all of it is 100% covered. And it's always, hey man, come back into the fold. It's always that. It's never, oh, you're too far gone, or you're too dirty. You can come back from that. Like, there is grace that is that deep.